This week has just not been it. The plumbing in the bathroom connected to the room that I'm in is just not ideal, and the toilet farts like 24/7. So honestly, this room kind of smells like the Lorwyn pre-release I was at last week, and you know exactly what I mean. I'm like a week off of these 3 meds I was taking. One was like a non-crazy drug, which affects serotonin, and it turns out serotonin affects everything, so my whole body is like, I don't know, screaming silently or something. I feel like I have a cold and a stomach bug, but I've been recovering, which has been ideal. The other 2 were hair medications, because believe it or not, even though this hair is pretty sick, I'm a little bit insecure about it. My hairline has been higher than the walls of Ba Sing Se since I was in like 8th grade. And I'm mostly comfortable in my body, but that honestly hasn't been that fun. And homies will like walk behind me and be like, holy cow, I had no clue that you were that bald. And as much as I want to say that doesn't affect me, it really kind of does. So, I'm pretty insecure, or I'm pretty okay with it, and for no reason at all, we're gonna put on this nice hat. Anyways, I've been trying to record an mtga video for like the past, I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours on my laptop. I got this laptop, the Samsung, for like a lot of money. And you know what the funny thing is? I can't even record mtga on it. Like, all you're doing is playing cards. But for whatever reason, my laptop takes the fattest dump of all time. It's literally in worse shape than that toilet I was just talking about. So, after so many OBS retries and looking on Reddit for way too long, we're on the phone, which in some ways is fine, because that's all I really ever play on anyways. In other ways is not, because I don't think the recording is ideal. And why does this all matter? Well, it matters because of our word of the day, which is imperfection. Why does this matter? Because it is the entire reason that I'm even filming this video. You see, I have a handy little personality trait that I like to call perfectionism. And some people like, I don't know, Christopher Nolan or LeBron James or something make it work. But, I don't know. I don't think I'm smart enough to make it work. So instead of making something perfect or working on balancing it, I just never make anything in my entire life. Because if you can't make it, it can't not be perfect. Which is my philosophy, and has been for the past like decade. I think. I just decided that I would just go full ham at the worst moment possible. And when you're at the bottom, you can't go anywhere but up, you know? That's kind of why I've never done any YouTube, even though I just think about ideas all the time, except for this channel called Gungar, which was like, it was like satirical Pokemon card opening, because I used to watch these channels that would open cards, and they were so overly enthusiastic, and the videos were so perfect that it just like grinded my gears. So I just made them as trashy as possible, and I just started dishing out the videos. Did they get views? No. But did I make them? Yes. And I think that's what's important here. So, through cold, bad hairlines, withdrawal symptoms, the stinkiest room of the week, and recording on this itty bitty phone, we are going to be releasing our first of the mtga series. And I'm a little bit excited because, believe it or not, I actually kind of suck at MTG in general. I've been playing for a long time, but more like homebrewed commander all the time, just pulling out dorky commanders like Shorakai and stuff. Shorakai is lit, but that's about all I knew. But I want to be good at something. I want to win something in my life. So we're going to be grinding out the MTGA, and my plan is we're going to become pros. I have a couple goals. I want to get all the achievements. I want to hit a decent rank in ranked, which also has to do with the achievements, but other than that, I don't think does anything really except boost my ego, which is already at a rough state. Anything else? Maybe collecting more Lorwyn would be cool. Kithkin just seemed like memes, and I think it'd be really funny to make like a, I don't know, a Kithkin deck that just destroys. So, prepare with me for this adventure of MTGA growth, and, I don't know. Be prepared to maybe learn 2 or 3 things once I get good, and just prepare to sit back for the ride and enjoy, because that's what I'm trying to do without any standards whatsoever. So, back to perfectionism. For our first video, I thought I'd do a little shout out to the starter deck dual decks, because I have been so nervous to make a normal deck that I just haven't made a single one at all on MTGA. So I've just been grinding the starter decks constantly, and I thought it would be a little bit rude and disrespectful if I didn't at least make one video about these starter decks. So I'm just going to go through them all and hopefully win at least 1 or 2 of these battles, and tell you what I think about the decks, and I don't know, just go from there, I guess. So we're starting with Arcane Aerialists, which it's funny because this is the only one I've been using for playtesting videos, so I feel like I've actually gotten better at it, which has changed my mind because I thought it was dookie for a while, and it kind of is, in my opinion, because unlike the land deck or like Vampiric Hunger, it just doesn't really snowball, and I love decks that have snowball effects. Pretty much the only thing going on in this deck is flying, which is cool, and most of the other starter decks don't really have a lot that they can do against flying. I mean, every starter deck has like, what, 3 to 5 removal spells, and then some of them have some reach characters, or creatures, I mean. But, this deck has 3 stasis snares, which are actually really ideal, because a lot of the starter decks have creatures with abilities that trigger upon dying, which helps with that. And you can stasis snare any creature with reach. Pretty much every deck has like, what, like 2 to 4 creatures that can actually deal with flying. And then for snowballing, there really isn't a lot. I mean, there's a fair amount of angels, and like Youthful Valkyrie is sort of a snowball, even though I feel like it's really hard to actually get creatures stacked with this deck. The Gyat-A, Font of Hope, I feel like anyone who plays starter decks normally knows that this fella is coming, so I've never actually had her help with anything because she just gets destroyed like the split second she enters the battlefield. It's like everyone is just waiting their whole time, and they're waiting. They have their grubby little hands on like a stab or something, or like an evade, and she never does anything. And then of course we have one mythic, which is Lyra Dawnbringer, which is cool. I mean, she's a baddie, which helps. And honestly, Empyrean Eagle always seems to do a really considerable job. I mean, it itself doesn't get +1/+1, but it brings everything else above like a 2/2 or a 3/3 range, which is where most of the removal spells are at, I feel like. And finally, with Empyrean Eagle, for our defender creatures, we've got Fogbank and Aegis Turtle. And giving both of these cards one offense is actually super nice because every deck has a bunch of like 1/1 or 2/1 or 3/1 hitters. So sticking that on them is actually super ideal. Oh, maybe not with Fogbank. Am I stupid? Maybe. For card advantage, you've got Chart a Course, which is really ideal. Curator of Destinies is okay. And Spectral Sailor has its moments. Even though this is blue-white flying, you don't get that fella that produces fairies whenever you draw your second card. So you can't make your Spectral Sailor engine, which is not ideal. But let's get right into it. It's actually really unfortunate because I've had many battles where I've actually been cooking with this deck, but they're all like frozen. They all look like this, which sucks. But life is life, and it's not perfect. Believe it or not. This is ideal. This is what they call, I don't know, I think a curve hand or something. Start strong with the little Specty Sailor, 10 out of 10. I don't know. I think I'm always looking for snowball type hands, which makes playing this deck feel weird because, once again, in my opinion, doesn't seem like there's a lot of crazy snowball type stuff that goes on. So he is playing Spectral Sailor. So he's probably playing the blue-black deck, which either blue-black or blue-green. Yeah, there it is. Andrew to the cow. This might actually be a little bit unfortunate. But we drew the baddie of the day, Lyra Dawnbreaker. So let's just hope and pray that we can actually make this work somehow before we play against literally the most snowbally deck of all time. And I think I want to draw next turn in case I don't get another land. Or else, I don't know, that won't be very ideal, you know? Ouch. Let's do it. I would swing with Healer's Hawk because it definitely get more value for me if he sacrifices Spectral Sailor. But he might have that card which gives his creature +1/+1 and takes out my Giadia, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Rest in peace. As I said before this homie literally gets no value ever. Oh. Well. It's alive, I suppose. Block. Bro. I just want a land or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is kind of an awkward point. We're just gonna hope and pray that he doesn't get that removal spell for a little while. Because even if I could get her off for 1 turn, that would just be so ideal. Anyways, how was your guys' Lauren pre-release? Because I went and it was actually really fun. The Lauren decks seemed pretty fun. Kithkin seems like such a meme, and I'm excited to actually destroy. I would like, in fact, I think it would be ideal if I could destroy with Kithkin, and it'd honestly be pretty funny in my opinion. Rampaging Bailiff is not too fun, if I'm being honest. And I wish I would get one of my 3 removal spells. But, you know, whatever happens, happens. Anyways, I didn't really feel like I got many Kithkin, which was unfortunate because I pretty much simped for Kithkin. No, you know what I mean. But speaking of simping, I got 2 more cons, which I didn't even realize would be ideal. But those fellas are like $6 or $7 each. So I almost made like half of a turnaround. Bummer. Bummer. Oh man, I feel like this is so close to actually working. Was that a bad move? I don't think so. Because next turn, if I survive, then I think I can actually start snowballing, which would be ideal. But I think he might assassinate. Yeah, he's gonna assassinate one of my angels. Never mind. Oh man. This is rough. Block rampaging with fog bank 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, this is not ideal. I'm about to do the goofiest thing I've ever done. Block, block, block. Take out loot because no one wants to see loot on the battlefield. And then I'll be left with... What? Man, I must be really bad at math. What did I do wrong? What did I miss? Whatever. I had a little bit of confidence there, but it's fine because we can bring it back for yet another Arcane Aerialist match. That might have been a little fluke. I think the game engine might have had a problem. It might be a defective game engine. Because I'm pretty sure I had that in the bag, but... Oof, and what is this hand? Alright, one creature, that's a 6 mana. We're gonna pull out the handy old mulligan. Sure. Keep 6. And goodbye, Cloud Blazer. I don't know what the rules are, but I always just kind of mulligan the highest mana card in my hand. Unless it's like the most goated card in the deck. But a lot of the times it's not. That's just, it's not how physics works. So we're gonna come out strong with an Aegis Turtle. Honestly, this fella's the GOAT. 1 mana for a 0/5. He also looks pretty sick. And turtles, am I right? Well. Oh. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna pull the most go-to move of all time and swing with my Aegis Turtle. This guy is confused. He's like, what is going on? Little does he know, chart a course. That's what I call your first lesson in card advantage. Skadoosh. Anyways, back to the Lauren pre-release. I showed up. Mine was pretty cool. I got the, what's her name? Midnight something something. The 1 mana that starts with 6 -1/-1 counters on it, which was really cool. That card's worth some schmeckles. And then 2 more cons, which are also worth some schmeckles. And for once in my life, I actually did halfway decent. I mean, I won 2 out of 3 of all the ones that we did, which was crazy. And we'll just ignore the fact that it was because one of them was like a really nice dad who kept letting me make mistakes. And then, oof. And then the other one literally just didn't even know how to play Magic. I think she was like the wife of someone who was way into Magic because she talked about how her family toured all the time. But then she tried to play a Black Goblin, I think, with a white, which was a little confusing. And honestly, I was so daunted by what happened that I didn't even like react to it. So that just happened, and I just let it go by because, you know, I don't know. What are you supposed to do in that situation? But anyways, because of this really nice dad and this wife who sort of kind of knew how to play the game, do not stab my homie, no! I won 2 out of 3. And then let me tell you, the middle match I did, this fella walks in, he's doing that crazy shuffle, you know, where they're like going ham. They're practically like, oh brother. They're like going ham with that stuff. They're like flicking cards into the air, and their shuffles just, they look like David Blaine or something. And then he looks at me and he's like, by the way, I like to play my games pretty fast, just letting you know. And I got absolutely cooked. I was playing more Golgari, and this guy, he was playing Golgari too, and his deck was everything that my deck dreamed to be. Like literally, my deck was in shambles. It looked rougher than me on homecoming night in 11th grade, and his deck was just perfection. It looked like, I don't know, it looked like Zendaya in like those visions that Timothée Chalamet has in Dune, where she just has like that like misty Instagram filter on. And oh my gosh, I was sorry, I got a little carried away. But anyways, he absolutely destroyed me, which is understandable. I feel like that's how most pre-releases go. It almost feels like a real life algorithm where somehow like they know to set you up so you get destroyed by maybe like one or two people. No, I'm going too far into that. Never mind. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I got distracted. So I'm going to play Temple of Enlightenment. I really could not care less about lands right now. And, sure. Let's draw a card. Okay. Oh man, I don't know about this battle. I think he knows I'm about to take out his homies. Okay. Classic. But he literally has no mana, so there's no little tricks up his sleeve. And I think I should honestly just be comfortable with sacrificing this Inspiring Overseer. This is just not it, honestly. My boots are shaking a little bit. And that's the thing. This black blue, I feel like it also, I don't know what I'd say. It doesn't really snowball. Well, actually, I take that back because like Abyssal Harvester is just always going ham, which is something to consider every time. And he has 2 unused mana, which I didn't even think about or realize, I guess. But the thing is, alright, I'm a little bit of a loss here. Luckily my companion is a stress toy. So I'm gonna hurry and get some jiggles out on my companion and then think for a second. And I always just YOLO it and never block with anything. Snowball versus blah blah blah. Screw it. These homies are going too ham. Spectral Sailor. Another Stasis Snare, which is actually pretty ideal for this, honestly. I'm a little bit scared, so I'm actually gonna Stasis Snare. How about just one, actually? Because I want to save the other stasis snare for Abyssal Harvester or Arbiter of Woe. Or, I don't know, maybe that one that makes the 8-8 octopus thing. This is just not it. Fuck. Oh. Whatever. Maybe we can turn this around somehow. Dang. I feel like my drawing has just not been ideal. I mean, my opening hand was okay. Am I just bad? Is that the problem? I mean, I know I'm not great, but this is just bringing me down. Oh man, he has a lot of mana. Yeah, that might just have to be our stasis snare. Because I've got nothing reasonable to deal with that thingamabob, whatever it's called. Scion of the Deep. I should probably take a look at his graveyard too. So he's got Zombify. And honestly, no creatures that I really care about. So here's what I'm gonna do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stasis snare on my boyo. On his Kiora, he knows that stings a little bit. But his one card in his hand is probably going to be, I don't know, Abyssal Harvester or something. But this is what I call the beginning of a good comeback story, maybe. We're going to swing with our big boys. Well, little boys. I don't know if I can call it 3-3 or 2-2 big boys, but they're big boys in my head. I honestly feel like everyone could use a little bit of confidence. Oh, on Perfection though, I may have been having a dookie week, but I actually pulled one of these. I bought like my first Final Fantasy pack and I pulled whatever this is. And honestly, I just barely watched a video that was complaining about these cards, but having one in person, I've realized that it's actually a pretty hot card. Kefka Palazzo. And I know it's backwards, but they were sort of complaining about how the text is hard to read. And maybe this is just a good example because To be fair, they didn't even talk about Kefka in specific. They talked more about like the art style of the other Final Fantasy cards. But at least on this, the contrast is really solid in my opinion. Yeah, that was our other ideal option for Stasis Snare. Man, that's kind of a bummer, actually. That actually really stinks. Alright, I'm gonna hit myself with a That's Rough, Buddy, because that is rough.
That's rough, buddy.
And then I'm gonna swing with both these homies. And then I'm gonna hit him with a little rigmarole next round with Spectral Sailor. Or I keep Spectral Sailor, just keep, somehow keep taking 3 damage, even though I can only last 3 more turns if I keep doing that. But either I juke him, kill his Deadwing with the Spectral Sailor, and he probably just like, I don't know, zombifies or Abyssal Harvesters or something. Or, I just keep mining my deck of cards and pray that I pull out the very last Stasis Snare. And there it is. That's what I call a good game, people. He's got the Abyssal Harvester. I just know that his pants are wet. He is excited. That is literally like the... Oh. Huh? That is literally like the #1 thing that you want from the blue-black, in my opinion. And he's not even swinging with the Deadwing. Oh, he's waiting so that if it dies next turn... Alright. That's rough. Whatever. That is also pretty rough. Oh man. Two. I could only swing with my 4/5. He can block everything else and just murder it all, so it barely even matters. But if I swing with my 4/5 and something dies, then he can't Abyssal Harvester it, is my thinking at least. Man, this is a tight game, if I'm being honest. Okay. I'll take it, I guess. Was that a bad move? Reply in the comments. Call me, I don't know, something bad if that was a bad move, and I'll be okay with it, because in my head I can kind of see how that'd be a bad move. But I'm kind of acting out of desperation here, because I think he's got all of his wombo combos going. I was only able to take out Kiora, which definitely helped, but he has pretty much every other card except Arbiter of Woe that I would have wanted to take out with Stasis Snare. And usually, in my experience, it feels like they're only able to pull out a couple of these combos per game, not like every single one like this guy is. So I don't know. I guess I just let the card advantage go too far. Now I just can't go far enough. Swinging with his 5/4. I'm gonna sack my homeboy. Dang. Give me Lyra, please. Alright. Zombify for next turn. Zombify. Zombify. What did he take? Wow, he took Zombify. What a surprise. Faebloom trick, not exactly what I wanted, but this could maybe work in our favor. Let's see. He has 2 mana, might have room for something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with the Gold Vein pick. So if I Faebloom tricked, tapped his Billowing blah blah, and then swung for 10, I would literally only need to hit with 1 creature next turn, which I think would actually be pretty logical. So I think I'm gonna go that route. What? Okay. Oh. I was not even realizing that he can just full swing next turn and only has to hit with like 2. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh man. Yeah, I know I'm taking a lot of time. Then I'm gonna draw a card even though I have no mana, but I feel like, oh, I can actually block with 2 cards. We're still in this. I've honestly had low hopes, and I feel like that's been pretty reasonable, but there's actually a chance. Also, this game has been running 40 minutes, and maybe it's because I never have a timer running for recording, but I did not realize that these games took so freaking long. I legitimately thought I'd be through like half of the starter deck games within like 40 minutes to an hour. But we are still on our first game, and I hope you guys aren't bored because I'm not like a pro. I'm not Mike Long. I'm okay, but I'm not Mike Long. Right now, I'm a little bit more of like a Mike Short. Or even a Mike Average on a good day. And you can't exactly cheat in MTGA, so I couldn't even be Mike Long if I wanted to. Oh, roasted. But I don't know. See, he's scared. I'm surprised that he has nothing really that he can do, because he should. Yeah. This may work. Let me hurry and squiggle my squig toy really fast. He only has one flyer to block a total of 4. Well, 5. Alright, this is actually a little bit nerve-wracking. What are your bets? I'm giving myself like a, I don't know, 40-60 or something. So I should. Oh man. I kind of just want to bring out all of my cards possible. I probably should have tapped. Oh. That would have been helpful. Equip. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards that I can attack with. He has like 1 mana, which is probably a stab. And he can only block with 2 flyers. Stick this on one of my tokens for some reason. I don't know why. And then just swing with all of it and say screw it. And I think this might be a GG. I'm going to hit him with a That's Rough Buddy, the best use of money that I've had in this game. And unless he pulls out, I don't know, Fart from Beyond, he can't even use a food token. I think this might actually be a GG. What are you gonna do with 3 cards? You got nothing, man. You got 1 mana. Stab. And then you've still got a 3/3 with no mana. Oof. That's rough, buddy.
That's rough, buddy.
That's what I call a GG. Did I want this to cover like most of the starter decks maybe instead of just 1 starter deck? That would have been cool. But hey, this is a lot more content than I was expecting. So this is what I call a GG. Join me soon for, I don't know, more stuff like that. Anyways, bye.